it's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity, and I am in my backyard succulent garden in Vista, California. It is December, mid-December. Beautiful, beautiful weather we're having. I have been talking in my Walkabout Wednesdays about this Kishokan, this agave, and it is so pot-bound. It's so sad, and I have wanted to deal with it for a really long time, and I just haven't. So Greg and I have a little bit of time in between projects, a little downtime, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to deal with stuff. Now, I'm sure you probably have a plant or two that is pot-bound. Another issue, when I planted this in this pot, I wasn't thinking straight, because see how the pot is wider in the middle? And what has happened over the years is the plant has gotten real fat through here. All the roots are right in through here, which means I'm not going to be able to extricate this plant from the pot, because I'm not going to be able to get it out of the narrow mouth. My bad. Thank God this pot is not sentimental or valuable, and I can just break it. So that is what I'm going to do. Okay. No? Okay, let's try again. Eureka. Okay. And poor thing. Another thing about the agave Kishokan is this fabulous plant, when it gets older, it throws off the most beautiful babies at its base. So we have this wonderful mother, and then all these fantastic babies. And because she was so pot-bound, these poor babies did not have a chance. So Mama has just been languishing. And I apologize, Mom. What I'm going to do, because these are so trashed, is clean her up. I'll roll her around. Clean up all the edges. All right, now, can I dig a hole this big to accommodate all of these roots? I can, but I'm not going to, because I don't need to. I know this plant. It's not particularly precious, and it doesn't mind a little bit of stimulation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the root ball by about 50%. So I think a lot of these roots down here too are not particularly viable. Anyway, okay. Now I have just effectively reduced my workload by about 50%. I don't have to dig that deep of a hole. All right, clean up the rest of these roots with my clippers. Now, if you live in an area that's a little bit hostile, maybe you get, a lot of rainfall, I would suggest that you mix a little bit of pumice into your soil, because succulent plants, many of them, most of them, and this just isn't limited to just succulents, but these plants enjoy a dry out period. Air is a really important component to root health. So when the roots are always wet, when the soil is always wet, there's not much, if any, oxygenation, and that is often what can cause root rot or cause a plant to fail. So by mixing some pumice into your organic material, into your soil, you give more opportunity for the soil to dry out thoroughly in between waterings, where there can be an exchange of oxygen before a new watering event. So that is something for you to put in your pipe and smoke. Okay, now let's take a look at my hole, shall we? I pre-dug it, and this plant is going to be going in the spot that it was in the pot. I like the idea of it there. And it looks like I might have got a little ambitious with my hole. I am not concerned. I'm not really concerned at all about this plant getting too wet here. One, we don't get hardly any rain here in Vista. And two, it's under the eaves, so it's fairly protected. But that being said, I'm still going to mix in some gravel with my soil. Because why not, right? Mix it in. This will again cause some, allow for some air pockets. I want to be as nice to my plant as I can. Honestly, the cleanup on this job is going to be way more effort than the planting. Okay. Pop this girl, pop her in. Let me clean these up a little bit. Yeah, these roots are crunchy. They're no bueno, so you're not hurting anything to cut the roots back on a agave quichocon. Okay, all right. Now, I overextended on that one. Let's try that again, shall we? Well, underextended, but that's better. I can pull her forward now. Ooh, she's cute. Oh, I'm so happy with that. That really does even look better than I thought it would. I really liked her in the pot. And I wasn't sure how she was going to look in the ground, but very happy with that. Get her settled in. All right. Now backfill gently. And this also, if you want, you can backfill, since we do have, we do have soil in there already. If you wanted to backfill with some gravel, pumice, you sure could. I've got a lot of gravel and top dressings mixed in to this soil, so I'm not going to worry about that. And we're just going to pack her in gently. This little spiral cactus is, she's rooted. It had rotted last year, and so I cut it up to clean tissue, let it harden off, and then reset it. And I'm really hoping that she perks up. I did also put a little fertilizer on it earlier in the year too, because it's so anemic looking. If you have any tips for me regarding this little spiralis and getting it to color up and look more green, I would be very interested to hear what y'all have to say about that. Okay. Meanwhile, I feel like I have done my good deed for the day, and I just feel so productive having gotten this done, because every time I come out here, I look at this poor plant in that pot and I feel like a bad plant mom. But again, there are other things too, right? Other things taking precedence. So today was your day, little Keisho. And I think you're going to enjoy over the weeks on Walkabout Wednesday watching this mom start to throw off some pups. And we'll keep an eye on that. It's going to be exciting and fun to see. You will also see on Walkabout Wednesday how I've top dressed, because I'm not going to do that right now. Right now, I'm just going to clean up my mess. I will restage some of my decorative rock. I had this really cool piece of lava. I'll stick back here. Cute. What else have I got? Not much. I got a little piece of blue glass. I got a few little mixed pebbles, which I will actually set aside until after I've top dressed with some gravel. I think what I have here mostly, it's such a hodgepodge. I have, looks like Cali, mostly Cali gold and some burgundy 3/8 for the most part. So I'm sure I can scrounge some of that up in the garage. Or maybe I'll Jackson Pollock it and do something different. I don't know. But anywho, I am going to be spending a lot more time out in my garden, moving into the new year as time permits, because as you learned in Walkabout Wednesday, I'm transitioning out of being interested in more of a designed garden, highly designed. In other words, using just common plants to create a look. And it's still going to be designed. It's still going to look good. But I'm more interested in showcasing specimens. And I have some connections now where I can get my hands on some really cool stuff. And I'd like to have some of these collectibles for myself. And I would also like to have collectibles to grow out to share with clients. So that's going to be my new emphasis, if you will. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Happy holiday season. And be sure and get your butts out into your garden and allow yourself a little self-care. This has been Laura Eubanks in Vista. Bye, guys.